is I'm going to use a weird analogy. I'm going to compare chords to locations in The Lion King. I know that sounds really lame, but it's just a quick thing that I thought of, which I think will help keep this grounded and stop it floating into horrible music theory land. So let me show you the chords to the first cue for this score for an unmade film that I've done, The Short Happy Life of Francis McComber. It's called From the Shelter of the Trees, and it goes like this. Now you'll hear this, for most of it, it sounds just nice and simple, and that's because it is just very simple, usual chords that get used in a lot of pop songs. But then towards the end, it goes a bit strange sounding. You know where it's going. It goes a bit strange, and then the nice thing with piano is you can use different combinations to do the same chord. So there's a C chord in one way, or that way, or that way, or I can do it like this, which always sounds nice because you can then do stuff like, or I can do it like this. So that's one chord. Now, I've used a combination of notes that to me sounds nice, but if I was to play you the piece in like really what people call triads, you know, really basic, almost like Rugrats style chords, it would sound like this. I'm just singing the French horn part. And then it starts to go a bit naughty. Going back to that Lion King thing I was saying. So I want you to think of this first chord. It's kind of like pride rock. It sounds happy, you sound settled there, and no problems, no tension, you know. Simba's being held up, all good. This chord down here is kind of like the pride lands. You know, it's hope. It's not home. It's not completely settled, but it still sounds happy. It still sounds hopeful. This is a really interesting chord. It's this chord. Coldplay start a lot of their songs on this chord, the kind of pride lands chord, because they don't want you to sound completely at home. They're going to take you there eventually, like their song Oh. They're in this key, but their first chord is this one. Goes something like that. So let's recap. You got your pride rock chord. I'll play it in the simple Rugrats way. You've got your pride rock chord. You've got your pride lands, you know, not quite home but still happy sounding. Then you've got this chord, which is like the fork in the road chord. This chord can take you, you know, back to pride rock. You know, loads of songs. Or the fork in the road can lead you to a nasty place. And so, yeah, I'm sorry, I know this sounds lame, but it's the easiest way to talk about it. It's like, this is the kind of, you know, the boneyard in Lion King where Simba and his girlfriend get caught out by those lovely hyenas. So I've got, you know, pride rock, Pride lands. The fork in the road. Now from the fork in the road we can either go back to Pride Rock, you know, back to the settled place, or from that fork in the road so for my piece, that's just a voicing of the Pride Rock chord. We're going Pride Rock, Pride lands, fork in the road, and then to a sad place, back to the fork in the road, happy place. Right, that bit is cool. What I'm doing there is I switch from that's that chord, that's the Pride Rock chord, but if I just move this one note up here, we're in sad place, we're back in the boneyard. Now I use those chords quite a lot in stuff. In one of my projects, Prayers, there's a song called Blue Bag of Ashes, and I use these chords quite a lot. I nicked them from Hans Zimmer. He's got they were going to fire him from the film, and the director said, "I'd fire you, but I love those moody chords you write." And then Hans, you get to see the footage of Hans playing these chords, and he goes like this. Like I said before, I stole that for a song called Blue Bag of Ashes. It goes like this. If it's over, tell me no. Or turn me round, don't let me walk away. Calm me down and say we'll be okay. Or if it's over, tell me no. If it's over, tell me now. Going Pride Rock, Pride lands, fork in the road, sad place. Fork in the road, Pride Rock, sad place. And they're the kind of Blue Bag of Ashes chords, that little bit where I've gone. So that's all fairly simple. And then the second half is where it is that bit where I'm trying to make it sound like, you know, when you see a dog and they're trying to settle down but they can't quite, they keep circling and smelling the same spot. At least my dog does this. She takes ages to lie down sometimes. And I wanted it to have that same feeling of, you know, Francis, the main character, he's loving this. He's soaking in this huge, beautiful place, but he can't quite settle down. There's something's not right. And then it gets really unsettled. And even there, where it finally resolves on there, it does that little Alan Silvestri style bit of notes at the end there. Even there where we finish, that's not Pride Rock. Pride Rock would be there. We're just settling for the Pride lads. Even there, he's not quite home, but it still sounds like quite a happy half resolution way of finishing the piece. So let me explain those weird chords. What's Pride Rock, the Pride lands, and then this one. What's naughty about that one is this note shouldn't be in there. When we're in this key that I'm playing in now, really you should only be playing the white notes. This note being in there, I stole that from, if you listen to Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen, he changes key going into the middle eight. I can't remember the lyrics, but he uses that chord. It's like it's the fork in the road chord, but you take the middle note and you put it down onto that naughty note. For some reason, you can throw it in, and it just about is acceptable to people. It kind of unsettles people, but it doesn't sound too horrible. So we've got that. This is the Bruce Springsteen Born to Run chord. And then this next chord is another naughty one. And what that is, I was learning years ago. I really like the key change in Every Breath You Take by the Police. And what Sting's done there is he's using, it's the Kiss from a Rose chords by Seal. So if we were being completely safe playing in this key, we'd just play the white notes. And if I want to go down to this chord, I would use that note. Now, a lot of songs like I Get By With a Little Help from My Friends, or whatever it's called, they use that chord instead of, you see, this black note. 17 Going Under by Sam Fender is an amazing song, and that uses that chord as well. It allows you to play in like a happy sounding key, but without it sounding too cheesy and over the top. Now, the naughty chord, Sting uses that in Every Breath You Take, but he also uses, in theory, I know I said I wouldn't do try and talk in music theory terms, but it's called the flat six chord. Thomas Newman, the composer, if you like soundtracks like Road to Perdition and Shawshank Redemption, and it's kind of got that ghostly, unsettled quality to it, that's because he uses this flat six chord a lot. There's an interview he did with Rick Beato on YouTube where he says the old flat six chord, he says the old flat six chord, like he uses it all the time. So that is in the white notes. If we're just playing the white note in the white notes key, where this chord is Pride Rock, that is the flat six chord that Thomas Newman's talking about. And then you can do the Sam Fender chord that kind of uses that note. That's what Sting does in Every Breath You Take. Every breath you take, every move you make, I'll be watching you. And then he goes to the flat six chord. Since you be gone, I've been lost without a trace. Dream at night, I can only see your face. And then he's back to. So, coming back to what I was talking about. We got that. Then that Bruce Springsteen chord I was talking about, using that note. Then the flat six chord, the Thomas Newman kind of thing. This chord it keeps going back to, it keeps trying to settle on, like I said, is that Pride Lands one. Not quite Pride Rock, it's this one. We keep coming back to that. The voicing I'm using for that is I'm playing those two, that one, and then this up here. It sounds quite policey, that chord, like the Police, because Andy Summers, the guitarist, if he was playing this chord, the Pride Lands chord, he would always put that note, not always, but he would often put that note in there. Gives it this kind of like, most people put this note in there. But Andy Summers loved putting that note in there. So I'm using that note. So let's do it again. Bruce Springsteen chord, which is G minor for anyone who wants to know the name of the chords. Then we've got the flat six chord. Strictly is A flat, but I'm putting this note in just because I thought it sounded good. Then we've got a normal, that's sort of sad boneyard chord. I've just put that in there too. That again, like Andy Summers would probably put that in sometimes when he's playing these the boneyard chord. Sounds lovely. Usually music, these two notes are so close together, they call it semitone, and often you avoid that, especially down here, low down. Just sounds like a total mess, but up higher on the right chord, putting semitones, playing them next to each other. Sounds lovely. Yeah, so where were we? Again, I hope this isn't too boring. I'm going to go back again, play it from the start, play the second half. Pride Rock, Pride Lands, Bruce Springsteen, Pride Lands, Thomas Newman, back to Pride Lands, Boneyard chord with the Andy Summers note. Then it's supposed to go back to the Thomas Newman one. Again, that Thomas Newman chord, and then the finishing chord. So that's it really. It's very simple in terms of just using those normal pop song chords, using the Lion King place names. You've got Pride Rock, the Pride Lands, the Fork in the Road, and the Boneyard thing. You know, those 4 chords, and then those 2 naughty chords. The Bruce Springsteen one, where he, in Born to Run, where he uses it to shift into the middle 8, and the flat 6 Thomas Newman chord. So in the white notes, the flat 6 chord is A flat, and the Bruce Springsteen chord is G minor. You know, both of those chords kind of don't belong in this key as C major because they're using black notes, but you can get away with it if you shape things in the right way. The string part that I wrote for the first piece, From the Shelter of the Trees, the strings are using these notes that I've just played on the piano. And then later in the suite there's a piece called If You Could Forget the Morning, which is using this exact piano part. So if you're a musician, you know, learn these chords, learn these voicings, try out using the Bruce Springsteen chord, try using the Thomas Newman flat 6 chord, and steal just like I stole that voicing from Hans Zimmer, which I use for, you know. You can steal voicings that I've used here in this and put them in your own stuff. Yeah, I don't know if this has worked. I love stuff like this. I love talking about chords. And again, for non-musicians, maybe this is boring, but I don't know. I thought I'd just try it, stick it on the Substack, maybe on YouTube. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.